From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Monday, June 2nd. We're starting out cool in the 50s, but don't you worry. It is finally going to feel like summer this week. We are warming up. We're going to get to the mid-80s with sunny skies this afternoon.
If you're a parent or share a fridge with someone, Instacart is about to make grocery shopping so much easier. Because with family carts, you can share a cart with your partner and each add the items you want. Since between the two of you, odds are you'll both remember everything you need. And this way, you'll never have to eat milkless cereal again. So minimize the stress of the weekly shop with family carts. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Service fees apply. For 3 orders in 14 days, excludes restaurants.
Today, those close to Jim Irsay will say goodbye to the late owner of the Colts. It's a private funeral service at St. Luke's on 86th Street. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez went there ahead of today's services. It is for family and friends, but he says there are other ways that people can pay their respects too.
Yeah, so the Irsay family is encouraging people to make donations to Kicking the Stigma, the Colts mental health initiative. It's one of the many causes that Jim Irsay championed. And I do want to note that a team bus has just arrived here within the last half hour to set up ahead of this service. Many people are remembering Jim Irsay for his philanthropic efforts here in Indianapolis and across the country. Now, these are pictures of Irsay with the Colts throughout the years. The team posted these pictures to social media on Friday. He spent almost his whole life around the team. His father, Robert Irsay, acquired the Colts in 1972 when he was 12. After graduating from Southern Methodist University, the team says Jim worked in almost every department from ticket sales to football operations. In 1984, after his father moved the team from Baltimore to Indianapolis, he became the youngest general manager in the NFL at 24. Under his ownership, the Colts both won a Super Bowl in 2006 and played host to the game in 2012. Off the football field, Irsay was also known for his love of music, collecting instruments from artists like Bob Dylan and the Beatles. Colts legend Reggie Wayne remembered Irsay for his generosity when speaking to reporters last week.
I told the receivers, I said, a lot of y'all don't really know him. He would have did anything for anybody. He really gave the clothes off his back.
Jim Irsay died back on May 21st. The family has not announced burial plans, though his father, Robert Irsay, is buried at Crown Hill Cemetery. Today's memorial service is scheduled to start at noon. Colts leaders have said that they will be holding a public tribute service sometime later, but they haven't announced those plans quite yet. Reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
In just a few days, the Pacers return to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. The official schedule is out for the best-of-7 series between the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 1 is in Oklahoma City on Thursday. Tip-offs at 8:30. Game 2 is also there on Sunday with an 8 o'clock tip time. Games 3 and 4 will be here in Indianapolis. They're next week on Wednesday and Friday, and both have an 8:30 game time. Fans don't have to rest their happy but weary voices for long, worn out from a thrilling series win over the weekend. News 8's photojournalist Nate Amaya was there and captured the moment and the emotion after the Pacers beat the Knicks.
Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam taking us to the finals in 2025. All right, we're gonna win.
Hey, it's Pacers in 7, Pacers in 4. It don't matter. It's Pacers all day. Love for the G. You feel me?
No, Pacers, we did it. One more team.
In other news, a young driver is due in court today for the crash that killed a local football standout. A judge ruled late last week that Trey Williams will face trial as an adult. He's 18 now, but was 17 in March when the wreck happened. Investigators say Williams was driving recklessly with Mason Alexander as his passenger. He swerved to avoid a collision and hit a tree, killing Alexander. We talked to a friend of Alexander's family.
I feel like the driver needs to be held accountable for his actions. And so if that means, which I do want jail time, but also to get the help that he needs while he's in there, and also understanding that you have to be held accountable for your actions.
Online court records show a hearing for Williams is scheduled for 3:30 this afternoon. LGBTQ advocates are pushing back on Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith's latest controversial comments, this time about Pride Month. On Friday, Beckwith posted on his private social media saying, "The Rainbow Beast is coming for your kids." Corporate America and government institutions are launching their annual siege on childhood innocence, and this year's Pride Month agenda is more aggressive than ever. An LGBTQ civil rights lawyer and activist says the comments are baseless.
Painting LGBTQ people as a threat to children, which has long been used by anti-LGBTQ folks to demonize the community and dehumanize us as threats to children, which is absolutely not the case. It's a baseless attack, and it's absolutely disgusting, the kind of rhetoric that the Lieutenant Governor used.
News 8 reached out to Governor Mike Braun for a comment, but so far we have not heard back. Happening today, Purdue University is set to hold a public hearing about its new tuition plan. It calls for a long-standing price freeze to stay in place for most on the main campus. One exception, international students would pay higher fees this fall. The following fall, 2026, new out-of-state and international students would pay more. In-state students at its Fort Wayne and Northwest campuses would not see a tuition hike, but out-of-state and international student tuition would go up by 3% this fall. A public hearing is set for 10 this morning at the Stewart Center in West Lafayette. In Boulder, Colorado, the FBI says a man used a makeshift flamethrower in an attack that injured 8 people. It happened during a weekly demonstration supporting Israeli hostages. Reed Binion reports the injuries, the arrests, and why the FBI is calling it a targeted terrorist attack.
But, this has really inflicted a lot of fear in the Jewish community at large, the pro-Israel community.
Colorado Governor Jared Polis reacting to the terrifying scene after a man in Boulder, Colorado, set multiple people on fire at a Jewish community event. It was a weekly gathering to support Israeli hostages in Gaza.
Witnesses are reporting that the subject used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd.
According to the FBI, the man yelled "Free Palestine" during the attack.
It is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism. The subject has been identified as Mohammed Sabri Solomon, and he's 45 years old.
Witnesses described a chaotic scene as bystanders rushed in with water to help the victims and extinguish the flames.
It was 2 older ladies, just kind of rolling around a little bit, and they had really bad burns all up on their legs.
There was one woman who was an elderly woman who had her hair charred.
The man believed to be the suspect was still on the scene when police arrived.
A suspect was pointed out to our officers on the scene. Our officers immediately encountered that suspect, who was taken into custody without incident. The suspect was injured. The suspect was taken to the hospital.
I'm Reed Binion for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
In Washington, the Senate is set to consider President Trump's proposed spending bill this week. The bill that narrowly passed the House would cut taxes mainly for wealthier people and also contains cuts for food assistance and health care programs for low-income Americans. Some Republican senators already say they oppose the bill. Democrats hope they will get enough opposition to block the bill from moving forward.
This Republican budget bill is an absolute disaster for the country, in particular for middle class and poor people.
The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says the bill could add $3.8 trillion to the national debt over the next 8 years. Let's go to Jane King now with your business headlines. She starts with a change to Microsoft's Authenticator.
In addition to having the 2-factor authentication that Microsoft has, also Google has an authenticator, they also save passwords. But Microsoft says that people need to save all of those passwords because they will phase out the password management starting next month. So they provide online accounts, for different kind of apps and websites, password autofills. So you may want to take a look at that. You can read more about it online, find out exactly what you need to do. Well, photos are appearing on social media showing sharp price increases at Walmart and Target. Many of these are taken by employees. Business Insider reports in one example, a Walmart label shows a price of a Jurassic World T-Rex toy jumping from just under $40 on April 27th to $55 on May 21st, an increase of nearly 38%. Walmart's chief financial officer recently said that tariffs were too high and prices would go up on some items. At Home Group, a home decor retailer preparing to file for bankruptcy in the coming weeks. On May 15th, At Home missed an interest payment. And then on May 23rd, it entered a forbearance agreement with its lenders. At Home has been searching for new overseas suppliers as the company tries to shift away from China amid tariffs. And for employees, the benefits of a 4-day work week are obvious: less burnout, improved mental, physical health. For employers, though, there's some unexpected upsides as well. In a study of more than 200 businesses worldwide that tested a 4-day work week, less than 10% returned to the 5-day weeks. Revenue, absenteeism, and resignations were all down during the test. Okay, May was the best month for the NASDAQ since 2023, up more than 9%. The S&P 500 climbed more than 6% for its best month since 1990. Now today we're looking lower. Trade tensions kind of ratcheting back up, particularly between the U.S. and China, and that's sending things lower this morning. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King.
This week, you have a chance to see the beginning of the end of Lily King's swimming career. The Toyota National Swim Championships open tomorrow at the IU Natatorium downtown. King is one of the best swimmers in the country and in the state's history. She will compete in the championships and says she plans to retire at the end of this season. Carmel siblings and Olympians Alex and Aaron Shackle are also set to compete in the meet. It will serve as the qualifier for the World Championships happening in Singapore next month. That's You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift, and that's kind of what she's saying about her songs. Taylor Swift now owns her entire catalog of music. She posted the news on her website. According to sources close to her, Swift paid around $360 million to regain ownership. Back in 2019, the rights for Swift's first 6 albums were sold to Shamrock Capital. That's why she started making Taylor's version of her songs and re-recorded 4 of her previous albums. Now she owns all of her music, concert films, album art, photography, and all of her unreleased songs. This has been your News 8 Daily. From Wish TV, I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.